What's that, Runehammer Clan? Hawk Runehammer here, bringing you the final episode of our Let's Build a Medieval Village series, and it is with great joy and a little bit of sadness that I am going to say that we will be bringing this series to an end. And, well, without further ado, let's go ahead and get started. Get out of F5 mode here. And I wanted to start at the bridge and work our way over so that we are entering the village as if we were sort of traveling to it. I didn't do any more work on the mine. I decided that it was good enough the way that it was. I didn't want it to be this huge industrial thing right next to our quaint little village. Maybe if I had it next to a city that was more industrialized, then I would have added more cranes and things. But I thought a nice, simple mining operation was sufficient for the type of village that we have here. And I went in and added a few little bit of mossy stone and mossy stone brick to the mill over there, but I didn't do really any other additions to that. So without further ado, let's move on into the village proper. You'll immediately notice some differences, and I'm very happy with the way things turned out. Let's get a nice wide-angle view. Check that out, huh? Isn't that just super nice? Everything come together, and you'll notice the marketplace, and you'll also notice there on the left, there is a nice little mill with a horse attached to it. We'll go check that out in just a second. But before we do that, let's take a quick glance at all of the buildings and the farm plots. And then we'll move on into the changes that I've made into the market. I have the regular, the herblore, or the apothecary stall, the armor stall. I have a cartographer, which I thought was be an interesting choice, a scribe or cartographer. And I mapped out the village, and you can see our lovely village map here with the roads and everything in it. When I made it, I hadn't made the mill, the grain mill, yet. So that is actually out of the map, unfortunately. I should have made it a little bit later, but I might go back and redo it. Over here, we have a nice bowyer. There, he's selling some archery equipment. And then, of course, our weaponsmith. So we have an armorer there and a weaponsmith directly opposed. So I thought that would be a nice way to tie in the village square. Let me know what you think about how all of this came together down in the comments. And let me know what you would like to see for future Let's Build series. I have some ideas of my own on a future Let's Build series. Although, guys, I have to tell you, I'm going to be taking a break from Let's Builds for just a little while after this episode. I want to go back and do some showcases. I've got some really cool things in the works for you guys in the very near future, as well as a build that I've been working on since 1.8. Yes, that's right. It's been in the works since before 1.9. Just a little bit before 1.9 got released, I started on this build, and one thing sort of led to another. I started on the Craft Theory server. I got distracted with other things, other builds, other videos, and it kind of just got pushed on the wayside. But it's a very, very intricate build. It's a very time-consuming build, and when it's finally done, I'm going to be so glad to bring it to you. So look forward to that in the near future. But check that out. I think that that's a really cool idea for a mill. I didn't want to do a full windmill. I have a water mill over here, and with the way that the village is positioned in between like some hills and some trees and forests and everything, I didn't really think that a windmill, unless I put it up on top of a hill somewhere, I didn't really think a windmill would be too practical for this village. Plus, they're not really processing a whole lot of wheat. This is probably just enough for them to make bread out of for themselves and have it in their own marketplace for them to eat. so it's not really made to export. And I mentioned in some other videos, envision what you want for whatever village or town or whatever, what the purposes of everything is going to be. That way everything sort of makes sense. And this is what made the most sense to me here in this village. And it gave me a chance to really experiment and come up with this neat little design. I kind of like it. It's a little bit bulky, but I mean, it's Minecraft, so everything's going to be a little bit blocky. But I mean, check that out. You've got the yoke for the horse. He's gonna be the one doing the work, pushing it around. You could put a donkey or a mule in there. I didn't want to have to breed a mule. So I just put a horse there. I got a little lazy. But you got the wheat here with hay bales stacked all around. And one thing to do that's nice to add for the sacks of hay is if you go in and put hay on the ground like this, and it makes it look like there's just sort of loose hay strewn about. And last but not least, the last thing that I wanted to touch on was interiors in this video. I did go ahead and make an interior, although it's not too much of an interior. It's a very, very basic interior, but I wanted to talk to you guys about some things that you could do to detail your interiors. Exteriors is one thing, and we've been focused on exteriors the entire time we've been doing Let's Build series. So let's talk about interiors for a second, and then we'll get one last look at our village and be done. So at the entryway here, I've got beams. When you walk in, the place looks supported. It's not just flat walls everywhere. So that's something that's very important to do for an interior like this, or a rustic or medieval, or anything that has to do with wood framing. Always make the frame on the inside as well as the outside. It just brings everything together really nicely, as you can see. Tables, create these little drinks and plates and candles if you have them, depending on your texture pack. This is actually a redstone torch, but maybe put a torch down. Whatever works for you. Paintings, whatever sort of decor that you can come up with, use that stuff. Cover up your bare walls. I really like the Conquest texture pack because it goes so well with my building style and the medieval look that I want. So I use it a lot. A nice big hearth, a nice fireplace that makes sense, that's supported, not just something that just goes straight up and down. This one looks very warm and very inviting. It looks like something is being cooked here. Go for that extra sense of realism. Now with 1.9 and 1.10, with what we can do with trapdoors, there's a lot of uses for them to make screens or whatnot on interiors. So make sure that you're using those on your interiors as well. I'm going through all these little tips for you pretty quickly. These rooms are very simple. Chest, a bed, a crafting table. Nothing really a whole lot going on in the rooms. Maybe a painting, a banner, This is an inn. It's a small village inn, and I didn't really think that plastering all the walls in every single room up here would be practical or look realistic, and I didn't think that it would look very nice. So I kept things pretty plain, pretty simple. You can do that with your builds. You can keep things plain, you can keep things simple. The other thing that I did was I didn't add an attic, and for good reason. Not all of the walls in a medieval build, not a build, but an actual medieval structure, we're used to modern housing where the walls go all the way up and everything is soundproof and you can't hear your neighbor, and that just really wouldn't have been the case in a lot of places during medieval times. You would have had these open ceilings. You would have had, these are just essentially privacy walls. They're not really there to keep sound out in a building like this. So, that's just one of those things that one of those features that you can add, or you could, if this was your build, you could come and add an attic. It just all depends on you. I thought that an attic would have just been a little bit too much for this build, and so I decided just to keep it open. And I think it looks nice open like that. You can see the beams, you can see the shadows. It casts a nice lighting effect up there. And I thought overall it just turned out really, really nice. So I'm not going to go too in depth on just every little tip and trick about interiors in this video. Just a few little tips, because I'm going to be doing the Builders University series with Ixen on Ixencraft, and that's where a lot of the real instruction is going to be taking place. That's taking over for where this Let's Build is leaving off. So if you really want a lot of good building tips and you want to learn how to build really well, I like to give tips as I go while I'm building things, and that's why I included a lot of that in this Let's Build series. But I'm going to be taking that aspect and and the teaching you guys and putting it into the Builders University series with Ixen. So if you really want a lot of those tips, make sure you follow that series. I will be continuing showcases. I'll be continuing to do my Craft Theory and my Ixencraft Kingdom series. I might throw in a few other games here and there as a nice little break, as well as some Life Is Me videos. I've got one in the works. I got to edit it, and I got to add some music and things to it. But that's all in the works, guys. So, I'm going to be regularly uploading. I don't really have an upload schedule anymore because it became impractical for me to keep an upload schedule. It was doable for a little while, as I mentioned in a previous video, but it's just no longer feasible for me to maintain a strict upload schedule because my schedule of late with work has been a little bit erratic. I know you guys understand. You guys have real lives of your own, and I appreciate you guys hanging in there with me. And another thing that I appreciate is all of the publicity that you guys give me and all the support that you guys give me, because this past week or two, I've just kind of blown up. We're about to hit 100 subs, guys, and that feels amazing. Going and seeing in less than a year that I've been on YouTube with this channel, and I'm already about to hit 100 subs. I've got 84 of you guys following me, and that's just great. And I want to say from the bottom of my heart, how thankful I am to have that many people who are interested in my work, and who want to follow me and want to subscribe and want to see all the things that I'm up to and the creativity that I try to put out and the positivity that I try to put out on YouTube. So thank you guys so much. All of you guys that are already following me, keep sharing my content if you will, because we're so very close to growing our little family to 100 subscribers, and that's just something that's so great. It's a huge milestone for me. So from the bottom of my heart, thank you. Keep up all the support. You guys are great. Craft Theory server guys, you're great. Ixencraft Kingdoms guys, you are great. And I wouldn't be here doing what I am without you guys. So thank you again. And I guess I'm going to end on that heartfelt note with this nice little view of the village. Like I said, it's a little bit. I'm a little sad to end this series. I really am. But there will be future series for Let's Builds, but not in the too near future. I'm going to take a little break from them, and then we'll pick up. Leave me your suggestions down in the comments, like I said at the beginning of the video, and I will take them all into consideration when we pick up on a new series. So until next time, guys, stay creative, stay positive. As always, I'm Hal Grunhammer, signing out. Thank you again for all the support. You guys are the best. Have a good one, guys.